The main man.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I got Mo as well. Where's
Yeah,
Mo?
Oh
good.
my
Hey, no,
goodness.
I
Mo,
need.
can't. Oh, there we go.
I'm here.
How are you
Hey.
guys?
Good, bro. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, I
Good.
know I struggled with this with Instagram. It's actually the first time I even get on the app or anything. I've always thought it open as an app for celebrities and whoever is high up there.
How do you like the name of my group?
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. I didn't check. Okay. Wait, what's the name for the? Oh, three-way. Ah. Oh, no.
Who's that?
Take it
If
as you wish.
if it was a three-way with two girls, fine. I
He's
understand.
afraid
But then
to.
now it's me alone. I don't think she can handle it.
I can't just find. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yo, bro. Yeah, been a while, man. Oh, did you
Hmm.
check
Huh?
the Facebook thing?
The well,
I did
oh
a
yeah,
little
I
bit,
think she
yeah.
checked it a little bit. Yes, I saw that you tagged it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
bro. I wanted to get into it. Like, yeah, like
Yeah.
there's so much to discuss, and there's so much to get into. Um, yeah, I
Mm.
have the floor, bro. Tell me. I want you to first answer the question that we had on there about um,
Yeah.
that females depreciate in value once they have children.
Okay, yeah, no, this is what happens actually. I think the one of the fundamental differences between men and women is that we men, when we are born actually worth nothing, nothing. We have to work, we have to build our value, and then we can only do that over time. But then with women on the other side, they are born with the things that we actually treasure. They're born with beauty and everything. So they have got the much higher value at early ages, and then it depreciates as time goes on. It's like a gift of nature that they get. Remember, for you to be worth something, for people to even take you serious, as a man, you have to have worked, you have to have earned everything that you have worked for hard for, and then you have to actually earn the respect of the people that you want to command, that you want respect from. But then with women on the other side, they are born with what they are born with. They are born with beauty and everything. And then I'm sure you also know how you also know, and then you've noticed how, for example, at the age of how pretty women are treated, or women are treated in comparison with the boys. And then I mean, for a boy who's a boy up to age of, let's say, up to age of maybe 18, even 23, to some extent, he's actually invisible even to women. He's invisible. He cannot contribute anything. He cannot do anything. So he's practically invisible, and that is not wrong. Understand me on that. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. That is the rule of nature. That is how it is. But then, as men work and then study and then gain more information, gain more power, work to better themselves and everything, that's where they gain their value. That's why you find that peak, the peak where they actually have both the things that women treasure: beauty, sorry, masculinity, finance, and then power and everything, is probably at the age 40, at around age 40. That is where, around age 40 to 55, that's where actually men are peaking in terms of power. That's where actually they command what happens in the sexual marketplace. They decide, they then decide. But then for an 18-year-old boy at varsity, then he can hardly even get the best poon in town. And then even if he gets the best poon in town, it's probably sometimes because of pity or something. But then with women, I mean, even any woman can tell you this thing, and that they all know that the way the pretty woman is being treated, or a young woman is being treated, is quite different from the way an older woman gets treated. And then you can also know. I mean, we all know there's also an age. I mean, Clubs, you know, I like clubs because clubs are nightclubs. They're actually the best example that shows how what actually happens in the society in its raw nature. Because there you find that, for example, you find the pretty girls at the gate. They don't pay anything. They get in for free. The pretty girls, the pretty one, and then all men have to pay. And then inside the club, you've got the general population, and then you've got the VIP. And then in the VIP, the level of the beauty that you see in the general population, and then the level of the beauty that you see in the VIP, and the age of the women that you find in the VIP is different. The age of the men that you find in the VIP, and then the age of the different. You find that's where you'll find the hot 23-year-old, the 23-year-olds, and then you check the guys. You don't see the 28-year-old guys. They don't have the money to get in there. So it's like it's like the pecking order. And then you will see the 40-year-old man, or maybe the 55-year-old man, the guys who have got their shit together. So now that is what happens. So now, if you check that, and then even a stripper, I'm sure you would not go to a strip club to watch a 40-year-old or a 55-year-old woman dance. You actually want to go there. You want to get the best that you can see, and then you want to see beauty, femininity, fitness, and all. And those are the things that men treasure. And then these are actually crude topics that even if we actually try to talk, someone will try to shut us up, but then there are the realities of life. And then I cannot. I'm not complaining. You have to understand that I'm not complaining about this. This is the game. This is how it's set. I'm willing to play by the rules that are given to us. That is. I don't complain. I'm not. Even though you may confuse me for complaining, but then you just have to understand that I've understood that this is the game that we have to play and everything. And then now coming back to guys, coming back to guys again. We talk about looks. I think for a guy, you have to be very, very, very. I don't know how beautiful you have to be for you to be taken serious. Even other guys, they know. They know. Look at what happened between that girl, that Tuli something, and then Mapuris, and people are complaining, or how can she? But then that they don't understand something, that power is the real aphrodisiac. Power is actually what women are looking for. It's actually the ultimate aphrodisiac, not looks. Looks don't really matter a lot, and then you really can't go far with looks. You have to have power, and then that's what happens. And then men gain power as they grow, but then women lose power as they age, because again, power is the ability to influence, to get people to move in the way that you want. And then a 23-year-old woman, the only thing that she needs is just cheap leggings and then cheap pumps from small street, 50 rand, and then she can get there. She can actually attract a billionaire. But then what do you need? You cannot go there and then say I'm nice. No, you cannot win. That's not how society works. And then I accept that. That is it. I think that's about it, fam. Yeah.
What do you want to say, Mo?
Why do they have to be cheap?
No.
pumps?
I'm just. They don't necessarily have to be cheap pumps. I'm just showing how easy it is for them to actually, for a 23-year-old to get to control men. You see, but then for a man to be able to do what that 23-year-old woman can do at 23, he actually has to have put a lot of work, and then a lot of work, and then that means you cannot just go there and say you have. You cannot just go there in terms of likes. You have to have go there with the bank balance and power. And then I also don't want to call. I also shy away from calling women gold diggers or anything. Women understand the game, and then they may act like they don't understand the game, but then they understand the game. And then for men who have actually established themselves into becoming powerful and powerhouse, they actually don't need to pay any money. They just need to have it. Women love living with a man that they know that, okay, this man, the feeling of security that comes from a powerful man is different. Knowing that this man can take care of everything does not necessarily have to take care of. I don't think Patrice Motsepe pays, for example, pays his side chick or a woman to do. In fact, I know that there are people who actually pay money to be where Motsepe is. Women who do that. Look at Bushiri. I'm just gonna use Baragi. I'm just gonna try to show you how power works in all, not only in business, not only in terms of money, but then in everywhere. Look at, for example, Bushiri. Bushiri, there are people that pay money so that they can see Bushiri, and then he becomes even more powerful. So every time his presence becomes his presence alone becomes so valuable that people are willing to pay money to see him. But then for guys who are still up and coming, they are the ones that always feel the need that way. I must pay money, or I must badge and all that. The guys that are up there, they don't even worry about that. And then that's what guys should focus on wanting to be. You want to be the best, the most powerful that you can be. I think that's about it.
Sure, bro. I like the fact that you use the. Oh, hi there, Mo. Hello.
Yes.
I like the fact that you used the club analogy, because
yes.
it's so weird, because it's like at a club, for example, like you never hear of like men's night. It's always ladies' night, right?
Yes.
And the reason for that is because men will pay money to be with any woman, right?
Yes.
Whereas females don't have to do that, because every guy will always be there. There'll always be a guy willing to pay for you to get you, right?
Yes.
So what the club owners do is that then they say, look, let's just get pretty girls in, and then the guys will come themselves. The guys will pay the drinks, and then they'll cover the costs, right?
Exactly.
Guys don't complain about that.
Exactly.
Right?
No, we don't complain. No, we don't complain, because we understand that is nature. And then also you have to understand something, that is nature. That is how in club there is no feminism in club. Even if there is feminism, it's only on the general population. The higher you go, there is no feminism. You will find the most feminine women, and then it's almost as if the women they actually switch off their feminism and then become very submissive once you get up there. Why? Because they understand that lights don't work here. Your aggression won't work here. They can call the manager and say, no, we don't like this one. She's too chacharach. Bring the quiet one. And then what they want you to see, they just want to see you smile and then decorate them. Because if you actually have to look at her, there's a movie that you should, in fact, it's a book, you should read that book. It has been played as a movie. The Godfather by I think it's Mario Puzo or something. There's some Italian writer. So there is
Mario
actually
Puzo.
yeah. No, not me. Not me. So if you read that book, it's one of the most what I like about that book and many other Russian novels, Russian literature, is that they don't try to gloss they actually show the human nature, as they actually show you how people behave, the human nature as raw as it is, and then as cold as it is. And then you can actually see that in that entire book, women there are actually more like decorations more than anything. It's cold. I know that it's something that women don't like to see, but then read that book, go through that book, you'll actually see it's almost as if this person writes of women as decorations, people that just make life better, that make life better, and then it really is nothing beyond. It's nothing more beyond. Not necessarily, but then you will read the book and then you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Mose, do you guys want to say some stuff?
She wants to fight. She wants to fight.
I'm lost. Actually, we're very other in decorations, and so I'm still lost. Let me try and catch up.
Okay.
No.
What do you want to say? You both know.
I hate a lot of what Putsa had to say, not because
he's saying it, but because there's a lot of truth in it. In terms of the analogy used and the structures things work at and all of that, and especially with like when it comes to women having like depreciating as they grow up, because it's like then you are valuing humans as something that's depreciating, but then it's reality, it is happening. Yeah, like just not even in just children, but then like their bodies
Yes.
also. It's like, the more kids you have, it becomes a
Yes.
bit hard. So I
I
don't
don't
like
like
it
it
at
too.
all, but I
We
Yeah.
also
don't
don't like
disagree
it.
with
I don't
I'll
like
say
it
on that.
either, but these are the rules. I have to be by the rules. I don't like
Yeah,
that. I don't like the fact. I actually wish that people didn't age. I just actually wish that people remain the same age, the same looks. But then the only thing that they will gain, obviously, more is experience. But then that's not my world, and then I did not write the rules. I'm just reading them as they are, and then I cannot change that. People have to old age, people have to die, people have to get cancer, people have, not that they have to, but then they will, even if I don't want. I did not create it. It was here before I was here, and then it will be here long after I'm dead. So that's what it is. It's just the rules. I mean,
Yeah.
Can I ask a question though? Guys,
yeah. I mean,
it does not count when it comes to men because maybe I'm slow or maybe it's because of just
yeah.
jointing, but
What
even
doesn't count?
men, okay, in my understanding, men do age, right? And live another biological clock. It works against them, does it not?
No,
Not really.
not
It
really.
doesn't.
No, you see,
No.
here's what happens. Your biological clock, you at 40, in fact, your peak fertility. I know that we like to say that we like because it's nice and then because it's what everyone
Point of
wants to be. Yeah, we like to say that women actually as adults, they start being adults when they're 18. That's a lie. Biologically, the minute you have your first period, you have actually jumped into womanhood. You can give birth. So you are an adult. That's your peak fertility at that time. The minute you start having your first period, that we don't like that because we want to think that 18-year-olds are still young. But then we only afford that because we are actually rich. We're actually a rich society. We are still in poor countries. A 14-year-old boy has to actually do what a man does. And then even in raising children, our parents were raised in such a way that at 14, at 16, at 14, at 16, he can already do what his father can do in case his father dies, because life was that short. You can look at countries, all countries that are actually war torn or that were war torn, or all countries during the war, during war times. During war, a person could jump in a plane now, could get, for example, from 1939 to 1945, World War II. A person had a lifespan of less than 20 something, a man had a lifespan of less than 20 something, because at 18 at 18 you're already drafted into military, and then you had to get in a plane and then go fight in a foreign land. You might not come back. So meaning that at that time a 16-year-old boy also has an obligation to think like a man and do what, and then mate with a 14-year-old man. And then it's almost as if biology senses it, because even the age of maturity in those ages, you find that women during those times, they actually get periods earlier, maybe at 12, 13, she's already having a period. That's your body telling you that, you know what, you are ready to be a mother now. So whether we like it now, or we have written laws that change, that say now it's no longer acceptable. It's no longer acceptable because we can afford to have 23-year-old interns that don't even have experience. But then there was a time whereby at 23, a man had already acquired enough wealth, and then had already started family and then had 2 or 3 kids. You see, so now you look at and then for women, as they age at age 40, I think after age 40, you can no longer, as they age, it becomes riskier for them to have children, and I'm sure you guys also know that the children those children that we used to laugh at because we said that they had teenage pregnancy at let's say maybe at 18 or 13, their bodies recovered so quickly that you can't even tell that this person had a baby. But then have a baby at 35, and then let's see how your body will recover after you have the first baby. And then you're going to have things that you don't want to deal with. So that's why this has to be done as soon as possible. But then I also understand. I mean, I cannot expect that right now a 23-year-old is broke, and then I cannot expect a 23-year-old to be thinking about being a father. But then that is the reality of life, and then that is, we cannot change that. That is what it is. And then but then for a man can still get you pregnant at age 60 or even more than that, as long as he's healthy. And then as long as he still produces healthy sperm. And then for that, it's easy. It's a matter of gym. Whether you go to gym 100 times at age 40, it's risky for you to actually play around that. Yes, we see celebrities, and then we black people like to assume that what celebrities live is what we should live. We see celebrities, but then we forget that celebrities have a lot of money. They've got an army of doctors. So even if she coughs a little bit, there's a doctor with 7, I don't know how many is coming to check her. If you don't have that, and then they like to talk about modern women like to talk about in vitro pregnancy. You check the cost of that, you find that the cost of that is the money that you will never even have by the time you retire, and the money that is required for you to pay that. So I just want people to be realistic about life, and mostly women to be realistic about life, because women have looked at what Beyonce and then Gabriella Union as the model of what it is to be a woman, and then forget that those people are exceptions into our community. They are very, very small exceptions. They're like the 1%. 90% of people down on the ground, they have to deal with the problems that everyone is experiencing. So yes, men grow in value because they get more money as they grow, but then also they don't have to worry too much about getting you pregnant, because they can still do that at 70 if they are healthy and fit, and then do. I mean there are men, I know 70-year-olds who fuck like rabbits. And then they're healthy and all that. But then I don't think there's any grandmother. I've never seen a grandmother who's 70 years and then is still busy there pushing some rounds there.
Hey, you'd be surprised.
It's a lot of talking points, boy.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
one of my questions is like, why is it that? Do you think that women actually, both of you girls as well, do you think that women, it's like when you say something like that, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh my gosh, she's a misogynist. Oh my gosh, she hates women. Oh my gosh, it's, this is toxic masculinity, or this is fragile masculinity, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's the first thing that comes to mind. But then why is it so difficult then for women to understand that actually by saying these things, it's actually the opposite. It's actually trying to care, because as soon as you tell the truth, then you can then deal with the realities of that.
Exactly my point. A lot of women, I'm a self-proclaimed patriarch. I was raised by a patriarch. I was raised by a man who was the highest authority in his home. And then his father was the highest authority in his home. And he trained me to be the highest authority in my home. And that's also what I'm teaching my son. I embrace the responsibilities that come with that. That if a danger happens, my life should be the first on the line. I embrace that. I embrace the fact that I have to provide shelter. I have to do all those other things. And then that my woman has to have options to work. And if one day she decides, you know what, I'm going to be focused on to give birth now, and then focus on she should be able to do that. I'm a patriarch. I embrace that, and that's how I was raised. And then I have not found any reason that can convince me to that, for example, that any reason that can convince me to, for example, to choose an alternative way of life. Not that I will dismiss it, but then I'm still waiting for it. And then at the moment, feminism is really selling what I'm not buying. And then whatever they are selling, it's already seen to be crumbling as we are speaking right now. Whatever they sell started when, I think in the early 70s, it started to decline. Feminism started to get in. But then we can already see that right now that they are not winning. Why? Because a lot of women are not happy about the situation that they have to deal. They're not happy with having to deal with three baby daddies that are left, and then they're out there, and then no one can do anything about it. But then they also chose sexual liberation. They wanted to sleep with whoever they want to sleep with, and then they wanted to choose their own mates, even though they suck at doing that. I mean, a lot of men, in fact, I would say most if not all 30-year-olds, they don't know shit about choosing a man. And then that's why before, that task was never a task that was given to a 30-year-old or a 28-year-old. That task was given to the elders in the family. That task was given to the men in the family. That task was given to even the extended families. They would actually look and then see, okay, Lou's daughter there is of age now, and then Puto's son is of age now. We want them to join the families and then make the families help these ones start their family. They would not say you must go to university and then get some guy who comes from Limpopo, who comes from Eastern Cape, and then you don't know nothing about him. You don't know how he was raised, his family values, and then you start breeding with that man, and then you come with a baby, and then you say, okay, this baby. How do you think? I mean, you yourself don't know anything about this baby that you have. You don't know anything about the man. You don't know anything about the baby, because we all know that when you go to a doctor, if you say, for example, if you are diagnosed with cancer or brain tumor or something, they will ask you, is there anyone at home who has got this, who had this? Why? Because they understand that we are animals. And then that's also one of the things that black people don't understand, is that black people don't want to think that they are animals. They think that they are better than animals. I'm not saying this to disrespect them, but then I'm saying this with the greatest of humility, for us to understand that we are actually not different from animals. If you want the best corn, or the best corn in your fields, you don't get a terrible seeds and then plant them there. You get the best. And then if you want if you want if you want to have a German Shepherd, you don't take a sporty from go next door and then make it with your thing and then expect to get a German Shepherd. It doesn't happen like that. So that's what other races have understood, and then that's what we black people have failed to cultivate, is that we think that a child of a guy who was busy struggling to even count at high school, a son will be able to give birth to a child that has got Einstein's mind. No, it does not happen like that. It does not happen like that. I don't like that. I would have loved that. Black people think that intelligence comes from God, or height comes from God, or color comes from God. That's why you hear a lot of women say, I want a tall, dark, and handsome guy, but then they expect the baby to be yellow. It does not happen like that. So if you want a tall, dark, and handsome guy, you must look for tall, dark, and handsome guy, and then expect the babies to be dark as well. Don't be shocked when the babies...
they turn out like me.
Yeah, if they turn out like me, don't be shocked. I mean, what were you expecting? So those are the things that I think black people have struggled with. And then it's not like, for example, now other races, they look at us as people who are not contributing anything positive into the world, and then they've insulted us. We are looked at as as people of lower class, lower grade, and everything. And then they've got a right to judge us for that. Why? Because we have not paid attention in mating. We have not actually bred our people in such a way that we know, okay, this man Lou is a very intelligent guy. He must get this kind of thing. And then the ones that you guys so-called deadbeats and everything should not be given the chance to breed, and then we'll be dealing with lesser problems. But then if you don't want to give a man who should actually We want more
Bye.
of his seed, and then no. Luna, you decide. You think, okay, no, intelligence will come from God. God will decide if the child will be clever or not. No, it doesn't happen like that. Even intelligence is there in the DNA. So that's it. That's it's said. I don't like these things. I don't even like saying these things because it somehow seems as if I'm insulting. But then it's the reality. I'm just reading the rule. I did not write these things. They are there for everyone to I don't like saying.
Yeah, but no, I fully agree with you, man. And I think this is the issue with trying to have everyone part of something or part of the conversation and part of being inclusive is
Yeah.
that you then have opportunities, you give rise to things that are not actually what the rules say. So
Yeah.
then you then start saying stuff like, oh no, you know what? Okay, wait, she wants to go back. Sorry.
Yes.
So then you start saying, oh no, you know what? Everyone can then be with anyone and then anything can happen as long as you want it to happen. And it's
Yeah.
like, no,
Yeah.
actually not like that. It doesn't work like that. Right?
Exactly.
It's like even people have personal preferences. Right? You can't all of a sudden say, oh no, well, if you take this girl, you take him, they're going to like each other. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's not gonna happen that way. You have preferences. And then
Yeah.
those preferences also have to do with a lot of things that you're brought up with and also your DNA. You can't
Yes.
change that. And then the
Yes.
problem with that is that then it sounds like it is offensive to some people, but then it's like, well, the truth be like that at times.
Yes.
Whether it's offensive or not. It's like, well, it's the truth. It's the way that things are. And it's either you like it or you don't. But regardless of whether you like it or don't, it's not going to change anything. And I think
Yes.
that's why things like that are such a hard pill to swallow, especially for a lot of women. When you speak about women stuff or black people
Yes.
or whatever it is, whatever group that you're referring to, it's such a hard
Yes.
pill to swallow because it's uncomfortable because it brings out exactly what you have and what you know. You know your family's been like this. You know the females in your family have done
Yes.
this. You know the males in the family have done this. But all of a sudden you're gonna say no, but when I do it, it's going to be different. It's like, who the hell are you?
Yes. Because you know that thing. It's the same. That what you just said right now is the same fear that people have when they look at their bank statements after a night after their bank statements after a night of party or after a weekend of
Mm,
party. That same
mm,
fear, you see that same fear that you have, "Ish, I don't want to see, I don't want to see." I get they were busy swiping, and then they don't want to see that. So that same fear. But then if you can actually be brave enough to actually go look into your statement, read everything that is there, track the costs. Okay, I spent so much money on airtime. Then you actually have a chance at actually saving money in the next month because you
yes,
can say,
yes,
okay, because I spent 800 rand here, let me maybe target 600 rand and save 200. See how we can do it. Maybe you can even get a chance to actually pass and then get to save 400 rand. So that's what happens. And then people want to be like that, even about things that matter, things such as procreation. As I said, or you cannot just go around there and then sleep with that guy and then expect that the babies will come out smart. You know that guy can't read. And then you know that guy has got a lot.
But wait. But then there's like things like reading, they can be learned.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah, but
like
then
it's not
Danke,
Oh,
it's not something that's like to measure your
okay. No,
intelligence.
you are
You
right.
can't
No,
measure your intelligence with like you can do
I,
this or that.
I concede on that one. I concede on that one more. I agree with you. But then I'm sure you get the general idea of what I'm trying to say. That things, yeah, I agree with you. Reading can be learned, and then
yeah.
also
It's the gist
try.
of it.
Yeah, but then if you can understand it, there are people. We like to think that all people are intelligent and all people are equal, and then we know that's bullshit. There are people who are very, very bad. There are people that you will tell, okay, don't cross, there's a car coming. And then, no, I will cross and see what's going to happen and get moved by a car. We know there are such people, even if it's not about reading. I mean, as I'm saying that, you should not, don't just focus on those little details, because I may be out of context. But then what you need to understand is that there are people who are dumb, just as there are people who are short, just as there are people who are ugly, just as there are people who are pretty. And then that thing, our beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We can say that all we like, but then we know that there is order, there's symmetry, there's things that we actually like to say. Okay, there's a way in which things are packed that is more likable than other. I mean, basically chaos and disorder. We know, okay, if things are packed nicely, even this is a nice way. But then if you throw around and say no, if you throw things around and say no, it's cleanliness is on the eye of the beholder. That's like saying that. No, it doesn't work like that. We know these truths, just that we don't like them because they make us feel comfortable. They make us feel comfortable, and then they also are there to gloss up the truth, to gloss up the lies, and then make them look like truths. And then it's also necessary. It's also necessary again. You must also understand, just because lies are there just doesn't mean that they don't have value, or just because stories all these things have got value. I mean, lies are the reason why Coca-Cola is the best-selling product all around the world. You know it does not taste. It's really not. Doesn't really taste that nice. But then it has been well marketed over time in such a way that people, you see, yeah, so that people can actually think of this as a nutritional value. But then we know that it's just caffeine, water, and sugar. That's all. That's there. It's caffeine, water, and sugar. You get the same thing you get from coffee, and then. But then we like to say these things because they make us feel better, and then our feelings matter too. I mean, at the end of the day, we must behave. That's why we smoke.
You know. Yeah,
Yes.
go for it.
This is where my concern was. When I first saw your status, it was I had a problem. I had more of a problem with the wording used. You said value. You got into this. Now, Puto, let's be honest. What I consider value is not necessarily what you consider value.
Okay, you are right. Yeah. Okay. Now that's you are right in saying that. You are right in saying that. But then now remember, when we talk about society, we are not talking only about you or only about me. We are not when we are talking about society or when we talk about men, we are not talking about this guy. We are talking about men. So, and how do we do that? We generalize across all men, and then we find what's the common agreement across the society of men or across the groups of men. And then we can also agree, okay, even with value, with the values that we share as a community, they have to be common, and then they have to be. Yes, I for example, I'm trying to come up with a quick example. I agree with what you are saying, but then you also have to understand that when we say, for example, we mention something about single mothers, for example, or okay, a woman who has got a child is less desired in comparison to a woman who does not have a child. It does not mean that we must now take all women who don't have children and throw them in the sea and feed them to the pigs. No, we don't do that. But then we are telling the truth, the common human
Let me
truth.
speak upon here.
Oh.
What did you say?
My problem came with that because when I initially asked, is there an opinion? I was more concerned about this word, value. I'm not gonna sit there and tell you now one day I'm gonna tell my child a woman with value is I cannot. But now I like the word that you are using right now. That's the one that's acceptable. That was my only concern. Value.
Yeah, but then I get okay. I understand. I'm not sure if I completely understand your argument, but then I think I've addressed it in the earlier counter argument that that as when we speak as a society, when we speak on Facebook or what, we cannot just pinpoint those people, and also we cannot just pinpoint those people, those few people, few outliers, for example. Or for example, there's an argument the argument of the argument that women use when you tell them, no, you actually have to have your babies early, because if you have them late, it's actually risky for your life. They will say, for example, but it was not risky for Beyonce, for example. And then you see that one is an exception, that one. And then also it's actually individual. You make the debate hard, because now you are ignoring the entire majority of the group, which says this is what we want. And then you are saying, no, let's forget about that one. Let's focus on this one, on the minority. And then that is not so democratic if we are to look at it. Because for us to build societies, we have to have common values, and then we have to have common agreement on we are signing a social contract, and then that most people must agree with that social contract. And then so that is why I'm saying that more women who don't have children, who don't have children of other men, are actually more desirable to men. It's not like I'm insulted. I don't like that. In fact, what I would have liked myself, I would have liked for everyone to be happy. But
I agree with a woman that has a child is less desirable. I did not agree with you saying her value depreciates. I do not.
But then, for you being less desirable, there was a time whereby you are more desirable. So your value has depreciated, has gone down from more desirable to less desirable. Okay, let me ask you this question. Okay, I don't want to ask you how old you are, but then let's say that.
By the way, just wait. By the way, I wrote that, so she's actually thinking that you did, but I was the one that wrote that. But go ahead.
Okay. But then it's fine. I took some punches for you there, so you must.
Go for it.
Yes. So I was making. Yeah. So I was making an example. I'm sure when you were 20, let's say 23. When you were 23, you were much prettier than you are. I don't know. Let's say, for example, now you are 30. Can we agree that when you were 23, you were much prettier? Let's put the makeup aside and everything aside in terms of fitness, health, and everything.
Let's go. Let's say 16 to 25.
I agree with you. Yes. When we age, it does not work on our side. But look, if I could show you my picture when I was 15 and now, you will see. No.
Okay. Let's assume. Okay. Let's assume that you are right there. Right now, let's say right now you are 30. Right. So now, do you think that at the age of 40, you will still look as you look now at 30?
Well, chances are. I mean, this is where the notion.
I don't think she's being real. No. I don't think she's being realistic with life. Then my 62-year-old mom is hot. but it will be dumb and also it will also be unfair of me to think that, for example, my 62-year-old mom now is hotter than when my dad met her at 21. That would not be so. But then if you check that, then you may look right now. I'm sure you've got money, you're working, and then you've got money to smell nice, to go to gym, afford gym. But then, in all honesty, you cannot compare your beauty You cannot, in all honesty, in all fairness, I cannot say, I cannot expect my mother to say that my mother or any woman to say that at her peak beauty, maybe at 23, 25, she's prettier than now. And there's been a decline there. There's been a decline there of some sort. That's what you don't like to hear. So, but then it's fine. But then it's fine. But
I was
yeah,
actually negative in terms of
Thank you for me.
Now that was actually the case for me. When I was younger, I was an ugly child. I'm not kidding. I was
so when
ugly.
Yeah. But then you don't disagree. You are just a late bloomer. We can just call you a late bloomer, okay? You were a late bloomer. But then that also means that you have got a peak. Like this is a graph. I give you an ugly child, and you grow. Then there's a peak, and then there's a time whereby you won't be getting free drinks anymore, and then you won't be getting free rides anymore, and people will actually say, "Yeah, mama, pay, pal. You see, we have got 2 kids there, and then pay for the kids too." But then there was a time whereby you could walk in a club. You could walk in a club free of charge, and every man would actually turn their heads and everything. Even if that time. But then even if that time is now, but then I'm sure you are still on your youth curve. You are still on your youth curve. That does not mean that it's gonna be like that forever. And I like this because I was working with another lady who actually thought the same thing, but then she had a daughter. She also had a daughter at an ED, but then that daughter was much hotter than her, and then the daughter looked like her when she was young. And then a lot of people now were now shifting their attention to the daughter now, and then she was no longer getting more likes and more reactions on the side. Well, live, not necessarily on Facebook. And then that was kind of hurting for her, because I mean she could see it. She could see that I'm now getting fewer drinks, and even the guys that approach me now. I'm no longer approached by the top guy. It's now his assistant is now coming there. His assistant is now coming. It's no longer the man, it's the assistant now. And then the daughter is now getting them. So it's the reality of life. Yes, again, I can also agree. I can also partially concede that there are exceptional cases of the late bloomers, but then I mean, not everyone is a late bloomer. I'm sure 90% of people are not late bloomers. There's only a few people who are late bloomers, and then but then we cannot draw the rules.
Just give her a chance, just give her a chance.
What you kept on bringing this beauty thing in, and I was shocked because I'm like, how? You cannot bring beauty in this beauty phase. You cannot say ideally when a man goes for a woman, he must go for looks.
Do you know why men go for looks?
You said must.
Yeah, but then do you know why men go for looks when they approach women?
Like me, I'm not a guy, so I wouldn't know.
Okay, here's what happened. First of all, one of the first reasons, the first thing that men look at, men are very visual creatures. The first thing that men look at when you are still walking there on the street, they don't know what's going in your head. They don't know whether you've got 7 PhDs. They don't know whether you've got a good bank account. They don't know whether you are a virgin. They don't know anything about you. The only thing that they're seeing at that time is what is your beauty. That is life. I don't like that it's like that, but then it is what it is. I have to play by those rules of life, and then you also have to accept those. I'm still explaining. So now he gets close. He gets close to you, and then when he gets close to you, that's when now he uncovers the big lead here. I get. And he sees, okay, now what kind of a person is this? The character and everything. But then just to cut the long story short, I will also continue. We want beauty because we want to have beautiful children as well. It's not necessarily about you. We know that yours is gonna fade, and also we know that yours. We want to have intelligence. much. We want intelligent kids. We want beautiful kids. We want everything. But then we cannot assume that you are intelligent walking there. The only thing that we can see there is beauty. Once we get close to you, then we can uncover the lead and find, oh, she has a brain. Okay, good.
Yeah, but
Okay, then after that, we can also check the character and character. Does this person cooperate and everything? You can have the beauty, and then you find that you don't have the brain, and then we will gladly make a U-turn, and then you will go, and then you will accept the guys at the top, at the bar there. Go club, go conquer there. You'll be the one there holding it. That's what happens. But then if you find that there's a brain inside, then from there we are gonna move to the next candidate. If you don't have a brain, and then when you get to the next candidate, we find oh, this one is not so beautiful, but the brain here inside is there, and that means our children are going to be there. Or okay, let's shortlist this one. And then we also go and then check until we find the best candidate. We're like, that's the one. Then now we take that person. But don't ever think that beauty does not count. Beauty is actually power. Let me tell you how much beauty, how important beauty is.
Well, let us speak. Go ahead.
Okay.
Let us speak.
when you speak of attraction, we were talking about marriage, the qualities a man should look for when looking for a woman to marry. Now, you cannot be beauty, guys. You can't. Beauty, I not be the basis of.
No,
let us speak. Let us speak. Just finish.
How beauty is going to help you. Yes, you have beautiful kids, no problem. That much I understand. But beautiful kids, are they really that much important that you're going to neglect every other quality that this woman will bring to the table just because of the look? Just because you want to have beautiful babies.
Okay. Can I answer you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, now this is what happens. I think one of the things that we are not fair about as people is underestimating the power of beauty. We are doing that, and then even her, I think she's also underestimating that. We're underestimating the power of beauty. Beauty, intelligence, strength, and everything. All those things, they are very powerful tools that people need to know how to manage, how to attain, and then how to use. So you cannot say that one is but again, you cannot say that one, even though they can rank. We can say maybe we put intelligence above, but then you don't see, as I said, you don't see intelligence at first hand. You see beauty at first hand. And then again, you cannot also undermine beauty while there are people who just have to strip naked and then take a photo and then make billions out of that. So you cannot, it's not fair to do that. It's not fair for you to say, okay, then even if I want to get married, I want to be married to a beautiful wife. It counts a lot. But then she must also be intelligent. I want that too. And then because you cannot get all that. Maybe it's hard to get all of them at the same time. Then that's where the balance comes in. But then that's where the balance comes in, you see. But then you cannot say that one is not important. You cannot say that beauty is not important in marriage. It's very important, because it's very important. I mean, you should say, haven't you wondered why people, why people or this men when they go to, for example, meetings overseas or whatever, they have those escorts, beautiful escorts by their side. A beautiful man makes a man look powerful. That's one of the first things. Do you understand? A beautiful man makes a man look powerful. You want to protest that, but I can tell you for sure, a beautiful man makes men powerful.
I have no idea. I'm not protesting. I have no idea.
Ask Lulu. Tell her.
A beautiful man makes what? Men look powerful.
A beautiful woman makes a man look powerful.
Oh,
because let's be honest, you men have this opinion that women should not have opinions. That is why. I mean, can you imagine me getting to a meeting and then I start having an opinion? Look at Papa. Am I not lying?
Okay. But then that's because maybe we did not need for you. You need your opinion.
No, it's because you do not like
it's not needed. So,
Look,
so,
I
so
think, I think, I
Can I
think.
leave you guys for like a couple of minutes? I need to do something and then I'll be back.
it's
Ne?
fine. You come back. You come
Sure.
back. Yeah. Okay. So,
I think
so,
that's.
so, yeah.
I
So,
think.
but then,
What
Lou,
is this?
yeah, but then, Lou, I wanted you to tell it, and also to tell her that to also, but like, what again? Emphasize the point that she must never understand the value of beauty. Beauty is very beauty.
I was waiting for it, but then you never gave me a chance to speak.
Fine, it's fine. I'm excited. It's fine.
That's good. I like it. I like just watching for a while. I'm always the one having to
Yeah,
speak, so it's good
yeah.
for me. Where's Mo? She's still here. Mo? I think she put her phone down. But yeah, no, bro. I totally understand what you're saying, and I think, like I said,
Yeah.
most of the things that you talk about um, is harsh at first because it hits you at your core and it's uncomfortable. It's exactly what you were saying now with like,
Yeah.
it's better to just hide things underneath the carpet, but
Yes.
it's not like they're not there. The
Yes.
things are there and they're going to be there. And the more you run away from them, the more you're just adding up under the carpet. Everyone knows that. Everyone has
Yeah.
their demons. Everyone has their
Exactly.
things that they don't like.
Exactly.
So what happens is with all these groups and with all these narratives that we get fed and we get taught is that, oh look, well here's an alternative. You don't actually those things underneath the carpet don't exist. And
Yes.
then it's like, oh, really? They don't? Okay, well then perfect. I'm going to now, have that narrative and then, follow the narrative that you guys are speaking about. And then at
Yes.
the end of the day, it's like, you go along with that for your whole, say, 5 years, 10 years, and then you look underneath that carpet and you had told yourself those things don't exist, and then they wake you up. So it happens
Yes.
again at 35 when you realize, oh, actually, maybe I actually should have acted a bit better this way. Therefore, I would have now been where I wanted
Yes.
to be in life.
Yes.
But now that I've tried to run away from it and kind of been swept away by the thought processes, then
Yes.
all of a sudden now it's a bit too late. So again, it's the same thing now with these talks. It's like, you have a whole bunch of people, whether it's, racial, whether it's gender, whether it's
Yes.
trans, whether it's
Yes.
whatever it is. It's like you have a lot of people that will tell you stuff that you want to hear, you run away with it, right? And then they'll say, look, well, there's nothing underneath the carpet, there's nothing there. You run away with it.
Yes.
After 5 years' time, you come back and you think, oh, flip, actually, what the hell? I thought there was nothing underneath the carpet. And then it's
Yes.
even more uncomfortable to get into it, So again, it's like the stuff that you're saying, it's not, it's if you can protest it, then protest it. It's not like what we're saying is
It's
all right.
gospel. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or it's the way that life is. Everyone is different,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, then protest it so that therefore, when I open up my mouth next time, I now have not only my thought processes but also
Yeah.
yours, and now I'm a better person today, or I mean, I'm a better person the next day. But if you don't protest it and you just regurgitate, then all you know is that. Then when you go and you speak about it on social media or to people, or you act out, people look at you like, no, but that's not the way
That's
that
it.
life is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know.
so it's exactly why, like, again, what you were speaking about now with the kids thing and being at 25 and being at 35. It's like, of course, women want to think that at 25 they're going to be
Exactly.
beautiful and they'll have all the kids and then they'll look like Serena Williams afterwards. It's like, yeah, of course, because why would they want to now all of a sudden think I'm gonna have stretch marks? It's uncomfortable, and if I'm gonna have stretch marks, then I'm not gonna get a man. It's uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
therefore, I probably will have a child, and then that there will come a guy that will love me for my babies and will have me, run away in the clouds together when I'm 35. Then they get to 35, and then it's like, oh, where's that guy?
Yeah.
And then
So,
the people that have been feeding them these things are sitting happily on their man's chest without any kids, and they're thinking, hey, look, actually, it doesn't work that way. We were just trying. And I think it's a sleight of hand as well, man, like in the sense that it's like a game that they play with each other. It's a game that people play with each other. Like, let me stray you away, and
you
then
know.
therefore I can now eat the cheese.
Yeah. You know what happens? What happens? What I've noticed, and then what I've noticed over time is that I think the biggest problems that we have currently with the women, with the women in our lives, or with the women around us, is that they have they have gone further away from the truth in such a way that and also accepting the truth. Guys, the truth is not nice. The truth is ugly. The life is not always sweet and everything. The truth is not always sweet as well. I if you ask any woman what kind of a guy they want, they will tell you that they want a tall guy, dark and handsome. I knew very early in my life that okay, because women want these three things. I'm not dark, I'm not the tallest guy, I'm not tall, in fact, I'm average, and I'm not handsome. So I knew that I had to accept these realities and then see,
And
okay, now what is it that
if it's not that, it's someone that has that's going to be rich and will take care of me.
yes, then I took that route. I said, okay, then I'm gonna work my ass off so that I can also get the best out of society. I'm not gonna protest and say, okay, women should change and start wanting guys who are not tall, who are not dark, who are not handsome. That's unfair. You cannot really command what the buyers want. You have to try to find out what you cannot tell them what they should want. Or, okay, you should buy this, you should accept this. No. And that's what I've noticed that it's been happening with women. Women on the other side, they want guys to accept everything, to accept them as they are. No, accept me with my stretch marks, accept me with my bad attitude. If you cannot accept me as I am, you don't deserve me. What all those things that women say to make themselves feel like they are more valuable than their actual value. You see, so I accepted the reality, and then most men accept reality. Most men actually accept that they might not even get the best poon until they die, because they know that yeah, you will have those, as I'm saying, that in every pool of people that you set aside, there will always be those that will still want to be delusional and everything. But then I understood those facts, that I'm not tall, I'm not I'm average height, I'm not tall as what they want. Because when women say they want a tall guy, they don't mean an average guy, they mean 6 foot and above. You are saying that I'm fat for 5 foot something. No, you are short. Everything below 6 foot, according to women, is short. So, and then they also say, okay, we want a guy who's handsome, who's dark. So that means all those things, the rest of. So now, accept that reality. Okay, so these are the rules. Oh, okay, it's fine. It's the squid game. Or okay, these are the rules. I'm gonna play by these rules and win. And then that's also what I want for men. I want for men and for women as well. I have to understand, to make women. I want to tell women so that they can be able to understand. Okay, these are the rules that we set as women, as men. We want this kind of women, and then we want this way. And we we command this. We are the buyers at the end of the day. They have to do what I mean. It's basic economics. We want a product. We want a car that can do this, and that. And then they must work on providing that car so that it can be bought. You see. But then what they're doing instead, they are saying, no, you don't want that car. That car, you must want this car. You must want a Kia Picanto. This is a Kia Picanto, not a Ferrari. You must want this one. You see, and that's unfair, because men understand reality on the other side. You know what? Until I have enough money, I cannot go to VIP. And then the men that try to go to a VIP, they get cut. They get thrown out, because I mean they don't belong there. They have to earn something, show something. So it's that acceptance of reality that I see that is further dividing people. And then what happened is that also you get social media, which is allowed women free attention, which has allowed women to also get likes, to also get ratings and everything. So now they also use that as it has allowed every woman to think that she's a model. There was a time whereby Vele, you to actually be that person, to actually be a model, hey, you had to be there. There are people that you actually have to stand there, literally mark. Okay, your nose is facing this way. It must get fixed, and then or we can't pick you because your nose is like this and everything. But then even if, for example, if you can check one of the sensitive topic, the beauty pageants, you can see that the more time yes, they will argue, but it's because of European standards and everything standard. Okay, it's fine. Even if though it's the European standard, Oksala, they are the standards. They play by the rules, play by the rules. But no, they don't want to play by the rules. They don't want to play. Yeah. Moy has been quiet for him. Yeah.
I think,
Yeah, Moy has been
eh?
quiet for some time. Let me shut up.
I'm saying, I think for as far as like children and all of that, like you cannot fight with like biology and all of that. But then when it comes to beauty, I agree with you and not agree with you at the same time because um some women can maintain their beauty for the longest time, and it doesn't necessarily mean because this one is younger, it guarantees them like beauty. It's like it's not always like that. They are like much older people that are just gorgeous, and then the ones that are very young, like struggling to just maintain whatever beauty is classed as, like all of that. But then when it comes to like the basic biologic, body and whatever, like like by the time you're
Yeah.
40, like
Yeah.
you're pushing things, things like that. So in that regards, I agree with you completely. But then when it comes to like beauty, yes, beauty is important. You have to be
Yeah.
attracted to the person you are interested in, to some extent. I get that, and that's very important. But then also, like, it's not
Yes.
an everything
Yes.
at the
I
same
agree.
time. So yeah, that's where I wanted to say, okay, yes, and
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
at the same time, because it doesn't necessarily be like your whole value is not placed on, okay, you are
Yes.
50 now and
Yes.
you're ugly, but then it's like you are 50, you can be stunning at 50, and then somebody could be 25 and
Yes. No.
not
Yeah,
so much,
I think
you know.
to add on to that, I do sympathize a lot with women on two things particularly that come to mind, and one of them is the biological clock, and with that, with the biological
Very,
being
very
clock,
unfair.
yeah,
It's very
yeah,
unfair.
with the
The
biological
biological
clock
clock
being there,
is very
it's women have to really get their big parts of their lives in check, and they have to kind of get onto their feet very quickly, and they need to compete very quickly, and it's easy to then be sold any narrative possible because if it sounds right, okay, cool, I'm gonna buy it and then I'm gonna go with it, and then
yes.
that's
Yes.
it, and hopefully it's the best. Whereas with guys, we can kind of have some time and say, nah, I don't like this. Maybe the next one, maybe the next one. But with women, it's like, you leave home at 20, you need to graduate. After you graduate, you need to find out the
Yes.
next
You need
guy
to
that
get
you're
it.
going to be
Yeah.
with. And
Yeah.
if that guy is going to be the last guy you're going to be with, because then as soon as you have a baby with him, you're then stuck with that burden, and then he can disappear.
Yes.
So and then your value's gone or it's depreciated.
Yes.
So sorry. So yeah. So I think when it comes to that, I can understand why a lot of women then kind of just gravitate to that. They gravitate, especially ones obviously that want to have families. They gravitate and they be with the first guy that they're with because they hope it's the last. Which is why they always kind of put pressure on men, like, well, look, bro, where's this going? What's gonna happen now? Like, do you love me? What are we gonna do later? Whereas the guy's
Yeah.
like, just relax, man. 5 more years, we have 10. And she doesn't. She doesn't have
Yeah.
5 more years. She doesn't have 10 more years. She needs to figure out who she's
Yes.
going to have a family with, what she's going to do with her career, and all that stuff. So
Yes.
that's the one thing I sympathize with. And then you have the added factor of being very, very nice mostly all the time. So you get lined up to be exploited by any person. So a guy has all the time in the world to exploit you, and then you have such a short space of time to be exploited, or you have a short space of time to figure things out, which makes you even more vulnerable to be exploited. And guys will line up to do that. Even your friends do that.
Yes.
They'll line up and exploit everything out of you. And then you find that women are then wiser as they get older, but then only after the catastrophes have happened. Whereas
Yes.
men are kind of like, oh, I went through this, cool. I'll be stronger in 10 years' time. Whereas a woman, that catastrophe will really hurt you, will really be
Very,
a
very sad.
depressive stage. Yeah, it
It's
will really be a
it's
depressive stage and an anxious stage, and you will have children, and you have all sorts of setbacks. And if you don't have something of your own when you're, let's say, before 40, then you have to be part of a guy's life, and a guy has nothing else to do but to work. And now all of a sudden you're now classified as someone that's going to be with a male because you need to be, and not because you want to be. So when it comes to
yeah.
that, it's really unfair. And I see why a lot of women then kind of say, you know what, let me go with the rest of the women, and then to hell with men and how their thought processes are. But the thing is that you don't like you micro compete with these women, but actually what you're wanting is the other species, just like what we do. You want the other species, and the less that you try to understand them, the more issues you will have later. And then these ones can manipulate you and take you into all different parts of the world, and then end up with their knight in shining armor, and you're still chilling, and you're bitter, and you're resentful, and you have 4 kids, and you're feminist, and you have dreadlocks, and you're drinking Black Label every weekend, and you hate the culture. And then no man is going to want to be with you. But then you have a lot of men that will say, oh, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'll be with you. And then come through and then give you another baby and disappear again. Now even more of a rat. So yeah.
This is very sad when I lose. It's sad because I think you know what, nature is very unfair because it gave men the benefit and access to the long game. So meaning that men can play long game, men can delay, and then the women on the other side, they don't have the opportunity for that. There's no leverage in them delaying, while men can actually get something out of delay, because out of delay they can actually work, maybe get some money, improve themselves. But then with women on the other side, even if they can work, but then at the end of the day, for the things that they want, which is, for example, building a family, they cannot afford to do that. For them, it's a waste of time if you are going to date her, and then date her, and then when she wants to get married, you say, let's wait a minute, I still want to see you bad, I still want to learn you more, and then you take another 10 years of your life. It's very, very unfair. But here's what you need to understand is that women opted for that. They voted for that. Because before time, there was a time before whereby that was never a decision of a woman to make. It was actually the men in the family, the parents of the woman, they actually absorbed that pressure by saying, okay, we are going to be the one who are actively looking for a husband for you. And then we want you to get married to a respectable family, and then that also respects our values. So what we are going to do, that's where the arranged marriages came. But then women did not like arranged marriages because that's where they ended with the puto who's not so handsome and who's not so dark, over the guy with the nice guy with the tattooed chest, who makes her feel a little bit wet. So that is actually the cost that they had to pay. You see, I've been talking with a lot of women, and then with a lot of women at late ages, 35, 30, and most of them are actually open to arranged marriages. In fact, in such a way that they are even saying that, you know what, if you have got friends who are unmarried and are nice, and then can you please talk to them so that maybe we can see if we can get something to do. That's arranged marriage. The things that we think of arranged marriages as an issue whereby it's only the parents. But then if you ask your male friends, you know what, I saw that you came with some guy here. Is he single or what? Or okay, is he single? And then what is he doing? No, it's fine. Okay, let me set you up together. That's arranged marriage. And then women are now more open to that than before, because at age 23, you can't tell women about that, because at the end of the day, the minute she steps out of her yard, wearing nothing but just leggings and her crop top, all guys are flooding her in her DMs. All guys will be after her and all that. And then they enjoyed that. The problem is that they enjoyed that. They thought that was going to last. But then it doesn't last. That is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they get to the 35s, 40s, 45s, and that's when they have to play that's when they have to play the tough game of life, and that's the ones that we don't even like. The arguing with the CEOs and working non-stop and getting into arguments and all that stuff, because then they realize that that's the only way that they can make things for themselves, because now it's not going to come as easy. It's not like 10, 20 years ago when you can just not do much and always have a guy that's going to be around the corner. Most of the guys at your age in your 40s are going to also be well established with other people. So now if you're not with someone, what are you going to do? In order to make something of your life, you're either going to go for a young boy or a young man, and then obviously he's probably not going to bring anything to the table, so he's of no
No,
value to you.
no.
So then you have to then play the top game, and then you have to then start your own business. You have to look after your own family. And what happens if your husband leaves? What do you have then? Perhaps you might say, okay, well, look, I've got marriage, divorce laws that I can get money from. But then it's like, okay, until when? Then what? You still have to then find someone else as well. So it's very tricky for women in that sense. And this is the thing with the radical feminists, is that they don't tell women these things. It's always the glossiness. It's always, let me tell you all the things that you like to hear. And then when reality hits, it's like, oh, flip, why? How did I not know this? How did you not tell me this? And it's like, well, because they were just trying to sell you a narrative, because they were bitter and resentful over a man somewhere, somehow, you know? And it's like, what you're saying now is not, again, it's like, you're not trying to put anyone down. It's like, look, these are the rules. This is what's happening. This is what's life's going on. This is the reality. How can we all beat it?
Yes, because you are right on that. Because you know what feminists don't tell, most feminists, they don't tell women, is that the feminists work on the assumption that everything is going to be nice. Everything. So that's what happened. That everything is going to be nice, but then that is not life. In life, actually, everything is going to be bad, because we are gonna die, and dying is not nice. You see, so that is what they don't tell her. They tell her, no, go be a boss as bitch and everything. Yeah, but then they forget that you can actually get involved in a car accident, lose your leg, and then you're gonna need to be with someone for the rest of your life. You're actually going to depend on someone for the rest of your life. It's sad that I'm saying this, and then it's also said that this is something that actually they think, that's why they've actually romanticized marriage in such a way that they actually think that pairing up with a man is actually a form of weakness, while it's actually about survival. You need a man. You need someone who's going to be there when you are, and then they will say, you know what? That's where the child's husband's narrative come. They will have many kids, and then they will now treat these children as if these children are what? As if these children are their men. So in fact, that's where you will get to this. This is the man of the house. This is not a man of the house. This is a child. And after 18, he must get out of this house and then go start his own life. You see. So that's what happens. Karen, they've been sold the lie of everything will be smooth and nice. And then they've also been told the lie of thinking that they are all going to be rich and then be bosses, bitches. It does not happen like that. In life, that does not happen. It does not happen like that. Probably at the age 40, at age 50 or 55, you will still be paying your bond. You'll still have not finished paying your bond. You see, that is the sadness of life, and that's what it is. And then they all wanna be. They all sold the lie that, okay, you can be anything you want. That's a lie. You can't be anything you want. There are limitations. There are decisions that you will take in life whereby you will actually have to decide, okay, do I now move out of the country, or do I stay here with my family? Or do I now take an extra job, or do I now quit this current job and then take a cheaper paying job and then focus on raising my. Those are the decisions that people go through. Those are tough decisions that people go through. But then they've been sold the lie that we are all gonna be you're all gonna be bosses, bitches. Everyone is gonna be rich, and everyone is gonna be nice, and then everything is gonna be smooth. No. After some time, there are times whereby as I'm saying, I've actually been lucky in my life to actually work for. I've worked for a company that was owned by a woman. That's where I started my work. I started working in a company that was owned by a woman, and then I've got women that I work with as partners. And then the thing is that these things that I'm sharing right now are not things that you hear from a movie. They are things that I see on a daily life, whereby you find a woman who says, you know what, I actually see that there's actually a need for this and this and this and that. And then I actually thought I know people who owned in the 90s. They owned several properties, but then now they had to sell all of them after quitting a job, after losing their job to a nice. People with MBAs, after losing their job to a nice hot 26-year-old who just came in the office and then came up with an idea of of revolutionizing the company and then taking them from the paper backed systems into the new digital system. She had to lose her job. They made the job life difficult for her. Then she had to leave work. After leaving work, she had to what? She had to sell all other properties so that she can keep one and then live in one. So these are sad stories that are out there, that are happening out there. And then feminists are not saying these things. Instead, they are saying, tell you, no, go be bitter to men and then be a boss as bitch. And then at the end of the day, you cannot relate to even people that actually care about you.
That's what feminists are saying.
Look, also, just to add on to that, I think also what mustn't be missed is the fact that whenever you, like, all the stuff that you're saying applies to men. It's not like men's values don't decrease. It's just by saying that female values decrease as they get older doesn't mean that there's not another point where males' values decrease as they get older. Again, it's like what we pointed out now. As a male, if you're not going to be able to stand by yourself and be financially stable as you get older, your value will decrease. It's like if you lose your job, you become less attractive. Your value decreases. We don't scream and shout over that. We understand that. So we try to then make sure that every single time you're working, because if your wife is at home taking care of the kids and you lose your job, then you become less attractive. You become a liability. It's not like it's not like it was made like
you become a cost, and no one likes costs. Does anyone like costs?
So exactly. So that's how you find that a lot of and that's how you find that a lot of women will then say, look, what are you going to do now? Like, what's going to happen now? And men say, well, look, I understand the game. I need to go and work. And it's not like they're going to turn around and say, oh, how about you work? It's like, no, it's not about that. It's about mutual harmony. You have set of rules that you live by. I have a set of rules. I'm more comfortable in doing this, and so are you. Okay, well, then how are we going to make those things meet together? Okay, well, look, I'm more sensitive to children, so I'll take care of them because you're less sensitive and you take care of them. It's going to be more of a burden. But you like to be aggressive and you like to speak a lot and you like to be confrontational, and that's better for work. That's better for speaking to your boss. And for me, I don't like that stuff. It makes me anxious and it makes me borderline depressive, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. So you do that. Oh, okay, well, then it both works out. So let's do it together. Then the men go out to work and then the females take care of the kids. Same with war. It's like, look, you're aggressive. You're more likely to fight back. Whereas for me, I'm more likely to run away. Well, then, okay, fair enough. Well, then what do we do about the child? Well, perhaps then for the child, because again, you're more sensitive to the child and I'm less sensitive to the child. How about you take care of them? Okay, well then let's draft the men and have the females stay at home. Added on to that, the fact that if the females are at home, you can then always have one guy then impregnate one female or more females and then repopulate everyone. So it's better for the community. Whereas if you keep the males at home and you let the females go and fight war and all of them die, then you're dead. Then the whole society's dead. Yeah, so your whole society's dead. So the whole point of it is not so then you don't have a bunch of men saying, look, you know what, this is unfair. I'm not going to do this. This is toxic femininity. Why are they taking me to go to war? We were just saying, look, we understand how the game is and we understand how things are. There's going to be sacrifices. It might be a pessimistic point of view, but there's going to be sacrifices and we need to go. So we're going to go and fight for the rest of our families and come back and then be back again and be at this, right? Yes. If it's the other way around, it becomes chaotic. So we don't then say that, oh no, we're being oppressed. It's like, no, we're actually working together for something.
Not only does it become chaotic, it is actually if we can take women to war and say that women must go and die in war, and then we keep men at home, they're busy, that we actually risking extinction. If that war was to exist maybe for like 50 years, at the end of that 50 years there will be no person. That will be the end of humanity as we know it. So that is the unfair part. That is where actually women are more valuable than men, and then men accept the fact they have to die.
Yes, exactly. So look, so even in saying that, like the fact that, like, again, another thing that I also feel quite strongly about women for is the fact that they have the choice to create people. That's why they're so picky when they mate, because they have to bring the next best people around in the world. So for them to then be with any guy, they'll then just bring any guy in the world.
Yeah. Do you want the next guy to be a deadbeat? Because to be honest, if we are to be honest, the child of a deadbeat is also likely to be a deadbeat lad.
Yeah. But, yeah, but look, so this is also the reason why females have to choose the best type of guys. That's why girls go for the best type of guy, and that's why all the girls go for a small minority of the guys, and then they leave the rest of them. They leave the guys that are on their DMs. They leave the guys that are not going to be
But
earning a
don't
lot.
shift from the fact that, and vice versa. Even with you
Yeah, for
men.
sure. Yeah, no,
Because
no, for sure. Look, but yeah,
I think, like
what
I
I'm
said,
trying to get at, yeah.
I think, like I said earlier on, also mentioned something very important. After the whole argument, we got to a point where we were like, you know what, we need to be discussing how we can, because obviously such topics have been had
Many years,
centuries. Yeah. So now we need to discuss a way forward, and a way forward will not be to say, look, because when you lose value, it will. No, it does not work like that.
Yeah, but to answer you, sorry to interrupt. The way forward is what women don't want, because with women it's nice to whine, but the way forward, because the way forward is simple. Here's the way forward. You as a woman, you control the access to procreation. Only you can decide which baby is going to be born and which man is going to be a father. Only women can do that. Men can't do that. So
now, are we only talking about?
Yeah. So even during rape, even because they like to bring up rape when I bring that, even during rape, only women can decide which child is going to be born. Because even after rape, you can still choose to abort. But then with men, the only thing that men have full control over is what is relationship.
If you bring the topic abortion into this, it's another thing, because now you are sounding like you are promoting abortion. And if you are going to be the guy that says, if you are going to be the guy that says, hey, a woman depreciates value because of this and that and that and that and that, you are not going to bring abortion into this. A woman, in your words, a woman will also depreciate value if it's abortion.
No. How do you know? How can you see? Let's say there was no any cutting. How do you see that? How do you see that she has done abortion? You can't, as a man, you can't see that. Men can't even. Yeah, men can't even tell whether a woman had sex with a guy 10 minutes ago. They can't tell. So how can you tell?
Wait, let me speak. Say that again.
I'm asking, is this now what we are going to teach our kids? Because I think the importance of what we are discussing right now should be how should we advise our kids to do differently? Are you going to advise your child for a abortion? Really, I mean, my opinion on abortion, I'm not gonna bring that up. But is that what we are going to advise our kids to do?
Okay, here's what happens. Let me. I will tackle this from the root cause, from how it starts. Here's what happens. You are saying this. We women fought to have the abortion rights, and then the reason they had abortion rights, there's a reason again that makes perfect sense for me. And then is that reason you're okay? Should I get the It's the last resort. I would not advise abortion as the first thing. Well, the first thing is that women need to be aware of the fact that having a child with a deadbeat having a child with a deadbeat is actually very, very, very bad. So that's why, and having a child before marriage, before the guy can be vetted, it's actually bad. I'm not using this basing religion. In fact, I try to keep religion out of my topics, because once you bring religion, people, even if you can bring religion aside, you should not have a child before you actually have a lifetime commitment with the guy. Okay, you are going to be a dad, I'm going to be a mom, and then this is the child, and you are gonna raise this family going forward. You see, so that is that before we even get to abortion, because now with abortion is the last resort, as I said, is the last resort. But then other people have been, other cultures have been using abortion for quite some time. Far. We actually. And then, if you can find in most cases the people who are offering a counter argument against abortion, they are people who say that they are pro-life, and then some is for religious reasons and all that. But then, do I really expect that a woman who has been raped has to raise the child of the child of the rapist, that the child of the rapist that raped her forcefully or that violently and all that? Do I really think that? Is that fair?
Look, what I was trying to get to actually was, we look, we need to get back to that lifestyle order. You remember what you said about order?
Yes. Yeah.
This is all that we need to get back to.
Yes.
And now,
and order is simple. Yeah. So an order is simple. Order is simple. You have control over procreation. Protect that with all you've got.
You cannot
Not now.
you cannot put the blame solely on women. No, my guy.
No. I think there you want to blame men, because I'm telling you one thing.
I'm not blaming anybody. That's the thing. This thing needs to be something that both people work on, because in my understanding, for a home to be successful, both parties should be involved. Am I not like? Am I right?
No.
Look,
I
right. Can't.
Yeah.
So this is the topic that we should be, that I feel in my perspective we should be having. Look,
okay.
You emphasize. Look, my partner emphasizes the order, and in I you know, I get how do I put it quickly?
Yeah. Okay. Let me answer. Okay. You know what happens. I had put two things that both parties control. I will go back to that until you understand that point. I put two things that both parties control. Men control access to marriage and family. Men control access to marriage and relationships. Women control access to procreation and sex. So if these
and
two
it does
parties
not end just in there.
Wait a minute. So if these two parties take full accountability of this, if you as a woman says to the guy, you are not gonna sleep with me until you meet my parents, and then you give 6 cows if it's 6 cows, and then I know on my side I'm not going to marry you until, for example, you show me, okay, you are a woman of value, and then you are a woman of value, and then you are committed, and all that, and then that's where the two meet now to build a society, because you cannot expect men to have power over your procreation while it is your power. It's like you want me to have a power button for your nuclear bomb. You want Baragema. You want Barack, who's the president of the United States? That guy, Biden. you want Biden to have
Biden.
Yeah, and nuclear. You want Biden to have a nuclear detonator button for another country which is actually has the nuclear weapon. Why doesn't that country take full control of rocket? These are my nuclear weapons. I'm only gonna use them when necessary. The same thing with the guy. So when you say that men should also be blamed, I can only blame men for on the other side, or on the side of marriage. If
No, I'm merely saying co-accountability. That's all I'm saying. I am not.
Yeah. No. Accountability can never be core. Accountability can never be core. Accountability for you is for accountability for you is for procreation and sex. For me, it's for marriage and relationship. You see, so you cannot want me to help it.
We are talking about building families here. We are not talking about it. It does not take an individual to build a family. Is that not what you said?
But then the families have to meet. The families have to meet, and then they've got responsibilities, which is why I'm against
you have a feminist.
Yeah. Hello.
I'm really starting to think you have. I'm sorry. I think my network is bad here. I'm starting to think you have a problem with feminists. Look. Like I said, I'm not want to engage in topics of patriarchy or feminism or whatever. I'm a traditionalist. I believe I am. And tradition, for me, I believe that tradition it condone order. That there is a role that each person in a relationship plays, and each one's role is as vital as the other. No other role without your role, or you must when I how role we and this is how our relationship is going to work. It cannot work. Both of us, we must understand how we both have roles in our relationship. In order for us to build a healthy family, we both have roles to play. That's what I was saying when I was speaking in terms of accountability. I'm not saying you must take accountability of my body. That is wrong.
Okay.
Number one, that's where feminists come in.
I agree with you fully there. I agree with you fully. I'm 100% agree with you there.
So this was, for me, this was what I was saying was, you know, I agree with you, we've been having such topics. The kind of topics we need to be having right now is how do we now teach the upcoming generation to be building a better families, because we are failing. We've been failing dismally at it. Yes, like you say, it's patriarchy versus feminism. It does not work. Okay, for some it works. I don't know. But we've been failing at this. We now need something which is order, as you had mentioned, that needs to come in place. Balance. So that we can build a better society. We are not going to build a better society by criticizing each other. I'm not going to build a better thing out of you by criticizing men are deadbeats, by generalizing men are deadbeats. You are not going to build a better society by generalizing a woman. If you're a feminist, or if you have an opinion, you're a feminist, or if you're a feminist, you are promoting working free sex, working.
Free spirit. Free spirit.
No, I do not believe that is the whole point of feminism, but I do understand where people get the misconception from. But it's wrong. It's very wrong. What we should be teaching our kids is guys. I was saying to someone earlier on, look, there's this thing, but the yin and the yang, and this is how people coexist in harmony. In order for me, you said earlier on, a man who marries for love is stupid, and I was like, what?
Yes, I was right.
How going to take and look someone in the eye and say, I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with you?
I was right.
Yes, I was. Okay. Can I answer you on that one, on the issue of love?
Wait, can I speak? Just wait. I just want to ask, what is a deadbeat?
A deadbeat.
You know, even women, you know, before actually explaining what
a deadbeat is a guy. A deadbeat is a guy who doesn't.
Don't say guy. You can also be deadbeat.
It's a parent. Okay, it can be a deadbeat woman.
Oh, it can be.
Yeah,
it can be a girl.
Yes.
I've never heard of that before.
I swear, this thing works, and this is the problem with you men. You think when feminists say, hey, we want equality, we are just speaking of we want rights. No, we are saying let's be equals. I'm not a feminist, by the way, but I'm saying let's be equal. Look,
So wait, so wait, what is a
I
deadbeat?
can
So
be a
I
deadbeat.
want to know what's a deadbeat.
I can be a deadbeat. Imagine I can
What,
give birth to
what
kids
is a
right now
deadbeat?
and leave
Yeah.
them behind
Well, what is a
and not
deadbeat?
look
It's
back.
an irresponsible
What is a
parent.
deadbeat?
In short,
Oh,
it's
so
an
it's not a
irresponsible
dead
parent.
yes, an irresponsible parent. That's what a deadbeat is. So are you saying women can't be that?
No, they can. No, I was saying that we can't
No,
be
look.
equal because we are not the
Okay,
same.
wait. So what is a deadbeat?
A deadbeat is an irresponsible parent.
In what way?
In a way that, let's say, for example, you are a mother, you have a child with someone, and then after having with a child with someone, and then you discover that person, that woman is a druggie. She's a druggie, for example. She leaves the child in a car on a hot sun, and then she goes, then she drinks beer, and then she comes drunk, and then the child is busy there getting sick, and then or the guy who does a similar thing, but then with the opposite. It's basically an irresponsible. It's actually a
In
slang
my
for
belief, a deadbeat
irresponsible.
is a parent that walks out on their child or family.
Okay,
That is
so
what I
what
believe
if?
a deadbeat is.
Okay, so what if the person doesn't want the family or want the child? They're still a deadbeat.
Why are you having sex
No,
if you don't want children?
okay,
What do you mean? Why are we
Unprotected
having
sex
sex
at
if
that.
we're having children? No, look. That's a different debate. I'm just asking. Look,
yeah.
if the
No,
person
you
doesn't
also
want,
said something like that earlier on. I was also confused for Batung. This thing, Kokot, it's been, this topic has been had. Look, if you do not want to become, even in high school, we were taught, if you do not want to become a parent, do not engage in sex. In fact, unprotected sex. If you engage in that, you must account. You must take responsibility. You cannot just leave it to the woman. No, no,
I'm not.
and it was nice.
No, I'm not. I'm not even. You haven't even answered my question. That's like the end
Yeah,
product.
but she just left your question away.
Yeah,
I'm
like I'm not
sorry.
even. I haven't even.
I'm sorry. I do not.
I'm still waiting for an answer myself because she
Okay,
just
what was
left.
your question? Maybe I did not get the question.
Yeah. So this is such a that was such a good what do you call it? Like example of when people say certain things, you get it's very easy to get triggered by the rest of the other stuff instead of answering what is there. And again, I'm asking again. So I asked you what a deadbeat was, right? And you said that it could be a parent that walks out on their kids, right?
Mm.
Okay. So what do you call when you don't want your kids? Like when you don't like before when you have them already and you leave or you're a deadbeat still.
Yeah,
I
you
think yes.
walked out. You did not
Okay.
stay, whether you wanted or not. You did
I
not
think
stay.
yes.
Okay.
I think
And
yes.
if you yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying I think yes because remember, as my broad explanation, my broad definition of it was that it's a person who runs away from his responsibility. Because if you decided
Okay.
to have children and then you say, okay, these are my children, and then now one day you wake up and you say, I don't want these kids. Remember, these children, they did not vote, they did not decide to be here, and then it's the two of
Yeah.
you. It's
Yes.
the two of you who said, okay, we're gonna be
Yeah.
parents. But now you one day you wake up and you say, you know what, fuck this, I don't want these kids, and then I'm gonna go away. So you are basically running away from your responsibility because these are
Thank
your
you.
responsibility until they are 18 or until they can actually create life for themselves,
Provide.
until they can self-sustain. So that is I think you will still fall under the category of a deadbeat if you do that.
Okay. Okay. So what if you stay then as a parent and you're a shitty parent? Then you're not a deadbeat because you
You are
haven't
still
You're
a
walked
not a
away.
deadbeat. You're just a
you are,
shitty parent.
no, you are still a deadbeat. I think you
Ah.
are
You're
still a
just a
deadbeat.
shitty parent.
No, you are. If you are there, Bella, remember my broad explanation was that a person who runs away from responsibility, you have a responsibility as a parent to treat your children right, to teach them a trade, to teach them how to interact with other people, to love them, and they take care of them. So even if you are there, if you are not doing those things, and then of course there are cases whereby a person can't do that, maybe because the legs got chopped off in the mine or something. But then if you are there and then you are actively abusing these people, then you are a deadbeat, because you are not taking your responsibility of actually taking care of these people that you have decided that you want them to be your kids, and then you want them to be on this world.
Okay, so that's only if you have decided that you wanted them, and then you have decided when you had sex.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Look,
so
with
when you had
regards
sex, then you
to
have
the word,
decided.
look, with regards to the word deadbeat,
No.
I do not believe that any of us here can actually we can actually say this is what a deadbeat is, because it's slang, by the way. You understand? So
That's what I was just.
No, we can say what a deadbeat is if we give the definition for what we mean by that term. As I said, for example, I said that a deadbeat is a parent who's irresponsible. So with me saying that, you must also understand, take note that whenever I mention deadbeat, I mean an irresponsible parent. So I can say someone, and you can also use the same term. Yeah, you can also
diverse.
you can also use it.
Wait, what did she say?
It is very slang is very diverse. Like it's like you say, a person, even if you are there, but you are a bad parent, you are a shitty parent, you are still a deadbeat. In my understanding, a deadbeat is someone who walks out on their responsibilities, who leaves. If I say somebody's a deadbeat, it means they are not a present parent. They are non-existent in their child's life.
Okay, no, it's fine.
You understand?
So one last question. One last question, then we can close this debate. So if you're a mother, right, of a child, and you give your child to your parents, right? Are you a deadbeat?
If you are a mother and then you give your child to a parent okay, now she's coming. now her definition is
look, I do not offend people, but the truth of the matter is, if you do not want kids,
you can't say you don't want to offend people now. When we were making the definitions now, it was fine, but now you want to become. This is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I've offended anybody, but if I have, I apologize. But look, it's like I said.
You painted herself in the corner. Now she can't get out.
Let me ask a question, Rara. You give your child away to your
parents. We must answer the question first before you ask.
Look, if you're going to give your child away because you do not want it, whether be it your parent or to whoever, look, at the end of the day, it remains, if you do not want a child, do not do the deed. Do not do the things that it takes.
That's not the question. That's not the question. I'm saying to you.
But you're saying if you give away,
you have a baby, right?
You
have a baby, right? And then when you have that baby, right, then you give it to your parents to take care of, right?
Because why?
Well, it doesn't matter. Like, you're giving it to your parents. So does it matter why when you give it to your parents? But then when you walk out as a father, it doesn't matter why. You're still a deadbeat.
It does matter. Why would you walk out? Because some men actually walk out because I was the
problem. I'm asking you. Yes,
can you imagine if a man walks out?
I've seen
instances
where I asked in the beginning. When it is classified a deadbeat, I asked you if it was what is a deadbeat. You said someone that runs away from their responsibilities. You never said
they choose. You just run. Oh, okay. Maybe I did not put it correctly. You choose. It's not a matter of you wake up one day and you are not. You did say not able to provide. You choose. You choose to walk out. I get. Now, if I give away my child because I choose.
No, I think you are painting yourself. I think you are painting yourself in the corner. I think you
So
bring.
wait, so look, so
I
fine,
think
everyone has a choice, right?
and
So
then you
so
can't
as
get
a
out of
guy, if you
it.
decide to leave, you have the child, you decide to leave, you're deadbeat, right?
Yes,
Regardless of what the reasons are, right? Or do they
yes.
matter?
Look, like I said, if I'm a woman and I
If you're a
choose to stay
guy,
away
if you're
from
a
my child,
guy,
even though
if you're a guy,
circumstances where I must be
wait,
there for my
wait,
child,
wait.
be.
So look, so the bigger question to this will come, right? But the reason why I want to ask this, right? And you said in the beginning it's this is the same narrative that this gender thing comes in with this gender pay
GBV,
gap and this gender based violence. It's like no, it includes everyone.
GBV.
Everyone's affected, But actually, men are the ones that get paid more than women. It's like, whoa, wait. I thought you said we're included in this. It's like, nah, not really. By principle, we are.
Sorry, I
Feminism is
didn't get that.
about,
Men are the ones of what?
men are the ones that get paid more than women for being men, and therefore women are being oppressed by men, right? And then it's the same thing with feminism. It's like, no, by definition, feminism is that it's trying to make everyone equal. It's like, oh, really? Okay. When you go and you fight for your marches, do you fight for men's rights? No, we fight for women's rights, but we don't mind men as well. So you get all these
But that's not what
definitions.
feminism. But that's not what feminism is supposed to be. It
Yeah,
is not.
yeah, regardless. Yes, yes, fine, fair
What
enough.
feminism
You
is
might say
about.
it's not what it's supposed to be.
What matters is what
Nothing is
feminism
what it's
is
supposed to be. It's
currently
practically
as
it's different. So what I'm
or
talking
as
about now again is this whole thing of look, what is a deadbeat? Oh no, you know what? Deadbeat is a male and a female. Oh really? Okay. Really? Yeah, okay. So when a man walks out, is he a deadbeat? Yep, fuck yeah, he's a deadbeat. Okay. So what about a female when he gives his kid away? What happens then?
But is that working
Oh
out?
wait! I need to now alter the definition of what a deadbeat is. Now all of a sudden, it matters now why the
So
person
I
walks
also
away.
want is that working out though?
the
If
God.
you
Okay.
give if you as a man give
So now
your
you see,
if you give
all of a
your child
sudden
to
now,
your
all of a sudden,
girlfriend,
it's not walking out when it's the female. Now the bigger
I
picture that I'm trying to
I
get at is the fact
that
that there's a lot of narratives. There's a lot of narratives that are driven that are female is great and is amazing, and men can do some good, but mainly harm and negative, right? And then
and that
when
is
we give
wrong.
out these definitions of a lot of things, we will say that it includes everyone, but we actually mean that when it's negative, it's most probably male, and when it's positive, it's most probably female. It's the same things that we do with gender-based violence. It's like we know that females slap men all the time, right? But hey, you know what? Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about when men are the ones that beat up females. Then we can say it's gender-based violence. But actually, by definition, what we're trying to say is that then everyone is included in all of this, and it's like, no, that's not what happens practically. Oh, her network saved her.
I think she's stuck.
Hey, Potter.
Yes. Oh no. I'm just. I was just relocating back outside. There was a car because I was running from terrorists. Here.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to get at in the broad sense is that when we
Yes.
make this definition, it's very easy to say, no, this is what it means. It means everyone's included. Everyone's like this. Oh, what does racism mean? Well, racism means that you are now discriminating against someone because of their skin color. It's like, oh,
Yes.
okay, really? Okay. Who can be racist? Oh, well, everyone can be racist. Oh, okay, cool. So when a comedian goes and makes a white joke, is that distasteful and racist? Yeah, you could say so. It's like, oh, okay. Well, what about when you have a white woman, right, that will say something racist on a platform, and then all of a sudden she needs to be canceled for it, right? It's like, oh, yeah, okay. So it counts more when it's a female white person against a black person. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, but isn't that then alter the meaning of racism?
Mm.
So again, it's like these things of definitions is nice when you say them. It's nice on paper when we make it equal and everyone's
Yes.
kind of in the same boat. And then when we actually use the words practically, it's not like that. Again, it goes back to this whole beating up thing. It's one of there's that picture that I tagged you guys on Facebook. It's like when a woman says, "Oh my gosh, I put you in." This is the picture of a guy in ICU. You know, it's like, yeah, this is you come into your husband's or your boyfriend's hospital bed after you've put him there, and you're a female and he's a male. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. Facebook even says, "Oh, no problem. I'm not going to delete that." And then as soon as it's a guy that does that, it's like, "Oh no, that's violence, man." Again, it puts us back into those categories of if it's female, it's good and it's positive. If it's male, it's negative. But if you want to push a whole whatever agenda, we're going to say everyone is included and everyone's included equally.
Yes. The same thing that happens. The same thing that happens with white people. That if it's white, it's bad, and then if it's the race, that if it's black, then it's good, then it's fine. I think that is how people who are at the weakest position and then don't want to do the work argue. Get to argue. For example, if you think of it in terms of black and white, in terms of black or the cancelling, how people get cancelled, how people get cancelled in social media, for example, the cancel culture. You would see that a lot of people who want other people to get cancelled are people who have actually not done the work themselves. They can't. That's how they fight. That's how the cancel culture basically is how cowards and lazy people get things done, because they don't appreciate the hard work. For example, that I'll make an example that R. Kelly or Somizi or whoever did in order to be who he is and how he came to be. And then all of a sudden, then they will say that no, he's must be cancelled because he raped. He must be cancelled because of this and that. It's very, very, very unfair. And then I always say that it's how cowards and lazy people get things done, because you don't have to do anything. You just have to sit there and then blame everyone, and then you don't really have to lift a thing, you see. So and then you can just play it's easy. You just have to switch the buttons. You can just play it and then shift the goalposts when it concerns you and all that, you see. Like, for example, the Believe All Women campaign. We know that it's a stupid campaign. You know that it's a stupid campaign assembled and then built by people who are stupid, who don't really want to do the work of actually getting out there and then getting the right answers and asking the right questions. Then they say, no, believe all women because it's gonna be easy. Oh, but then next time it's her brother that is actually accused of rape. No. Let's pause believe all women again, because my brother would never do something like that.
Never do that.
So it's laziness.
I know my brother. He would never do that.
I know my brother, and even the mothers are very good at this. Because mothers are very good at. Even my own mother, I'm sure she will actually advocate for me to. Yes. Even if I kill the person, my mother will come and say, no. My son, I know my son. He's very, very sweet. He's very, very sweet. He would never hurt a fly. She would say that, even because, and I appreciate that, because that is nature. I'm not gonna fight with it, but then I just hope that men as a structure and also the society as a structure, they never actually get to the point whereby they agree to such politics, because they are politics of stupidity, politics of laziness, politics of people who just want to talk and do nothing. You know, as I'm saying, for example, we know if you were to, I mean, you're on Instagram, I'm sure at some time, or Twitter, you have seen the diary, Somizi's diary, or what he has to do. The guy works fucking hard. His diary, the guy works fucking hard. I'm not a fan of Somizi. I don't like the guy that much, but then I appreciate the hard work that he brings.
Respect it.
And then that's something that I respect. I respect that more than anything. You see, the same thing with R. Kelly. R. Kelly had done his work. He has worked hard. It's not easy to be with those people, guys. That's what people should need to understand. That it's never easy to be those people. And then for us to just cancel all that just because someone has done something, it's stupidity. It's stupidity. Why don't we take that and find something, do something with it? Why don't we say, okay, now all the music that R. Kelly was selling now, 50% of the sales are now going to be shifted to a certain, maybe to a certain psychiatric hospital or what. Now, no, they want everything to be cancelled. They want him to lose his job and everything cancelled. That's stupid. That's stupid. And you can never build a society with people like that at the forefront.
My brother, I have to commend your battery of your phone.
Yes,
That's
I
the
know
first thing.
it's not iPhone. It's not iPhone.
The second thing is, I love how the back seat of your car changed into cupboards.
Yes. No. I moved from the back seat of my car because
Oh, I thought you were living in a transformer.
No. I left there because there's terrorists inside the house. So there's a 3-year-old terrorist. So I like to work in the car because then he thinks that I'm gone or I'm not there. But then now. Yeah, now they went out to buy. They went out for ice cream at the shop.
Sure. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, so no, we covered a lot today, man. My brain is fried. I really would love to have this conversation again very soon, maybe the next day or two, and we can have like a part 2 with everyone else. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Sure,
We
my
can
brother.
do that.
I'll see you. Thank you, man.
Sharp.